Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Medeek Wall plugin. My name is Nathaniel P. Wilkerson, and today we're going to be discussing double brick walls specifically. So, what I've done to facilitate that type of wall is I've gone ahead and added another option into the wall draw and wall edit menus. So let's go ahead. We put down a grid. Let's go ahead and just start with the draw wall tool. So the first thing you're going to notice here that's changed is we have now this new wall framing material option. And by default, of course, it's going to be set to wood or it's going to be set to none. But what you'll notice is now you also have brick. So, and again, we do have steel. So whereas before, in the global settings, you could set your options where you could do steel and a wood texture. Now you have the option where you can basically do walls on a per wall basis and set the material for each one of those walls. So it just opens things up, makes things a little more flexible. So let's go ahead and I want to demonstrate, first of all, just a basic brick wall. So what you'll want to do is you want to set your wall framing material to brick. And then with the wall framing itself, you want to change this option, of course, to no. And the reason is because if you don't, it's going to basically just draw a wall with wood studs with a brick texture. And basically by saying no, we're turning all those studs and framing into a single solid that represents the interior of the wall. So with these two options set, one is no, the one is brick. Let's just hit update. And let's go ahead and draw a couple walls here to demonstrate. So just typical walls. And I'm going to pop them there. Okay, so as you can see now the wall framing has been converted to brick, whereas before it would have just been a blank color. And we can get in here, of course, into the edit menu and always update that. So let's go ahead and demonstrate. So typically, we have the wall framing set to no, and if we set this to none, it's just as before, where we have essentially a solid being generated. So really there's no difference between geometrically, at least, with regards to how the plugin is treating these different wall types or wall framing materials. Basically, if you set it to wall framing to no and wall framing material to none, steel or brick, it doesn't really matter. Steel, of course, would just turn the wall the steel color. So really it's under the hood, I guess it's pretty much the same. It's just that we're now applying, by setting the wall frame material, we're just applying a texture to this no framed wall. And if we turn that framing to yes, see, it essentially does that, which doesn't make any sense, of course, so you wouldn't want to do that. You just want to set that to no. Okay, so now we can see that we've got ourselves a single brick wall. Let's go ahead and throw a window in there just for a little bit of architectural interest. And as you can see, it cuts the window out as one would expect. So the question is now a double brick wall. So I'm not very familiar, to be honest, with double brick walls. I think it's a type of architecture that's used a lot in England and some other places where they do that a little more commonly. But what we can do is we can, either whether you're drawing a wall or editing a wall, you can do either way. But let's just go ahead and edit this wall assembly. So what you probably want to do is you want to turn the wall sheathing off, because we have that turned on right now. So let's turn our wall sheathing off. And then our wall cladding, well, in this case, we want to set that now to the brick. So what we want to do is, whatever your wall, I don't know what it is, let's say 3.5 inches for the brick width. And I'm going to, of course, change this to our brick texture, which red brick right there. So if I do that, now you'll notice that the two brick walls are essentially butted up against each other. And I see a lot of times with these sort of walls where you have a gap in between, an air gap. So you want to change that, maybe 1 inch air gap. And now we see we have a double brick wall. but the brick walls are, let's assume that they're the same in thickness. So we're going to come back here to the stud depth, which essentially controls the wall thickness. Change that to 3.5 inches. And now we have ourselves a double brick wall. Okay, and as you can see, this wall needs to match, so we'll just go ahead and edit that too, just for fun. And now, to save yourself a bunch of time, you can use the wall copy tool, of course, or you can just, set your parameters first, then go ahead and draw all your walls, whichever you like. And notice that our corner offset here needs to be adjusted slightly, because now we're talking about a corner offset of 3.5 instead of 5.5 inches. We're going to need to adjust that wall. But first, let's go ahead and get this wall done. So turn off the wall sheathing again, change the wall cladding thickness 3.5, put in a 1-inch gap, and change our material to red brick. All right. Okay, so now you see, because we were previously started with a 5.5 inch wall, the corner offset here is incorrect. So to fix that, we'll just go ahead and jump in here in this wall, and make sure we got that set to 3.5, and just probably don't need to do both of them, but we'll do that anyways. Okay, so there we go. Double brick wall. So I also have the question, well, okay, so you've got brick, you've got steel, you've got wood, you've got like a generic kind of texture. I mean, why don't we just open that to every custom material? And I guess we could, to be honest. And technically, one can do that. So what I'm going to do is show you. Now, I chose this Medeek brick red, right? And if you are using that as a material for other things within your model, then you're not going to want to do this. But because that particular material is being used by these two walls, one can always get in here and edit this material. And basically the way the plugin works is once a material is defined that it is using, it's not going to try to redefine it or change it. It just uses that material as long as it knows it's there in the model. So what one could do actually is go ahead and edit this material. And let's go ahead and just throw a different texture at it. And I've got one here somewhere on my desktop. Just for fun. It's not a very good texture, but just an Adobe brick texture I created for fun. And so now, we've got this other texture, right? Material that's being applied. And so that Medeek brick red material will not be altered again by the plugin once it's there. I mean, if you delete it, then it's going to try. The plugin will try to recreate it and recreate the original material. But it's been altered. It's not going to change that. So again, if I regen these walls, and just to show you that I actually am regenning it, let's delete one of them, one of the cladding, and then let's go ahead and regen that wall. So you notice as it regens it, yeah, the altered materials basically sticks. So that's one way, essentially, if you want to do like Adobe walls or other bricks or other types, you can do that. It's kind of a workaround, I guess, but it's really not that hard to do. Anyways, just wanted to demonstrate that. Again, it's you can draw the walls this way, or you can edit them once you've drawn them. But either way, you can do double brick walls now with the wall plugin. So thank you guys for all your suggestions. And if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to email me at nathan@medeek.com. And of course, I'm always thankful for all of you guys' contributions. So we will talk to you next time. Thank you.